Mm-hmm. Oh, crap. No. Oh, I'm going to tone the page first. I'll do one with lines on white, and then I'm going to tone it like that color.
That's fine.
Because that's like, we can chit-chat, and I
Yeah,
can do
about
that.
why, yeah.
So I'll cut this, and then do that.
Okay. What are we on?
You're good.
Oh. Hey, guys. Sorry, we didn't realize we were on. Hey, guys, welcome to Jerry's Live. As always, I'm your host, Amy Gardner-Dean. It is the 75th episode today.
Wow.
If you're following along at home with us, playing along, and you want to know what some of these supplies are, you can go to the search box on jerrysartarama.com, type in JL75. That will pull up the entire list of the products that we're using that you will see here today. And somehow they've allowed us to be here for 75 times in a row against everyone else's better judgment, Joe.
Fantastic.
And then they even let us have you on, which makes this even cooler. Today we have a special guest, Joe DiGiulio, in the house. I know how long I've known your wife, Sharon, which is actually 17 years.
Yep, we've been here 16 years.
Yeah.
I have been with Jerry.
Yeah, well, I've known her for 17 because I was pregnant with my child that's going to turn 17 tomorrow.
Oh!
When I met her for the first time and had a show down at Jerry's at the retail store.
Oh, God, I
and
remember
did a
when
demo.
they had the galleries. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing that that you will always be fondly remembered for is giving me crap about the 300 different hair colors that I've had since I've known you.
Well, that's fine.
yeah.
I don't know what to say
Yeah,
about
every
that.
time I go in the retail store, he's like, "What's peaks around the corner?
like
What's
your
the hair
hair.
color today?"
I like the hair.
Yeah, no, but that's Joe keeps us on our toes, and Joe is an amazing artist and one of our Art of the Carolina artists as well. And he's going to be here teaching us this, and we need to jump right in because this is exciting. What are you going to be teaching us today, Joe?
Well, most of you will know that I have in the past, if you've seen my work, I'm very organic in nature, usually painting very large, colorful abstracts. We're going to tighten it up a little bit today in the fact that we're going to be doing some of these geometric abstracts, and it's really the first introduction of paint markers, pigmented paint markers into the work that I'm going to be using today, along with acrylics like the shameless Joe DiGiulio Matisse set.
But you know, you've got to have some street cred to get a company, especially a company out of the United States,
well,
to pick up your name on a paint set. That's pretty swanky.
Well, in 2006, we went over to Australia for 2 weeks. We worked with Steve Patterson and the people at Matisse to develop 29 new colors to round out their line because we were bringing them back to the U.S. and we wanted to be competitive with the color lines that Liquitex and Golden have, which are the two leading brands, I would say, of acrylics here in the U.S. So we did that, and Ira Goldstein, who is the president of Jerry's Artarama, if you don't know, said to me one day, he says, "How does it feel to know that people all over the world are creating artwork with colors that you made?" And there was 12 specific ones that I really work with, and the majority of them are in my color set. So we're going to get excited to use those.
How did that feel? Was it a little bit of a, whoa, I didn't even think about that?
Yeah, exactly right. But the ego was really pumped up from it, and you know, it always gives you a little shot in the arm.
Yeah.
So today we're going to work a little bit on paper.
Sounds great.
And we're going to then try to go into canvas if we have time and we don't talk each other to death. So,
Katie's going to have to get a stick and poke us.
Right. So to start, I even brought a piece of watercolor paper for Amy to use too. We're using the Fabriano Artistico watercolor paper today.
Hot press.
This is actually, I believe this is a hot press. It could be. The thing about it is, I want to do a float, and let me show you what I mean by float. Here's a finished piece so that you all can get an idea. All right, this is kind of a new thing that I'm doing with a little bit more sharper geometric lines to it.
There we go. No, we don't have so much shine.
You seeing that?
Yep,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you. And I went to a show in New York City in March, me and my wife Sharon. We go every year to the Armory show down on the 94th Street Pier in March. And they also had an art of paper show that they did on the 34th Street Pier. And I went there this year and I got inspired by the work of one particular artist. I don't even know his name, but just taking it in, it kind of sent me off in a completely different direction.
That's awesome.
So that is kind of, this is the culmination of taking that process in and applying it to what I was already doing. So to start today, we both have a piece of gator board. We both have our T-squares so we can make nice straight lines. Although my professor in college said the straight line was a direct path to hell. This is what we are going to use. But we showed you the piece of work because watercolor paper, full size, is 22 by 30.
Right.
And I wanted to cut 2 inches off to make it 22 by 28. This allows me to float it in a ready-made 24 by 30 frame. And I get that nice little even border all the way around. So a little pre-thought in the development of the work always makes it a little bit more economical.
Yes, much more cost
Save you some money.
effective. Yeah,
Save you some money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just demonstrate. We've got an X-Acto knife. We've got the accurate T-square, the 24-inch one. And I'm going to try to cut 2 inches off. And here's an easy way to do it. Okay? The width of your T-square is 2 inches. So if you lay it on the end there like that, you could just take and give it a go. And now my 22 by 30 piece of watercolor paper is now 22 by 28 and will fit nicely in that floated format. And you have that? You got, are we even on the bottom here? Okay, very good. All right, now that I'm done with that, put that off to the side and we'll be ready to go. Now, you have this leftover strip of paper. Don't throw it away. Use it as a dabber to test your color before you get started. So I just set it off to the side over here with my palette. And here's the idea. I have been working with this linear kind of arrangement, and the thing that's been in my mind was the rule of thirds. Do you want me to explain that? Or
Yes.
You had a great explanation for it earlier.
Well, it's the rule of thirds is something that people want to get very, scientific about and long-winded. It's a tic-tac-toe board.
Exactly.
And you don't put stuff right in the middle.
Right. That's the whole idea. What we're doing is we're going to lay out a composition. We want it to be effective to the eye, but we don't want it to be right in the middle if you're center of focus, because then it will kind of look like a target or very stagnant.
Or just a bad high school portrait. Right? Bad senior portrait right in the middle.
You're the portrait artist, so I can see where you would come from that. So, my idea was I'm taking these pigmented markers. We have the Sony line of paint pens or pigmented markers that are in our catalog, and there's a number of pens. New Amsterdam, Liquitex, Golden doesn't make them, I don't think. No. But another one that is in all of the Jerry's retail stores is Posca. And those are the kind of pens I'm going to be working partially with because we have a broad tip, we have a narrow tip, and we have a big jumbo tip. So we're going to have 3 different widths in our linear elements. Okay? All right. So to get started, I'm not going to draw a tic-tac-toe line on there.
Right. Yes, it's in your head.
There's one for you. Line. Yes, I'm just using that as our basic idea. Oh, that's silver. That's the black one. Oh, is that white? That's white. That's white. Oh, Amy's got to put tape down.
Because I'll bump it and move it, and then my lines will be not. Because that's how I roll.
What I did is I cut the. I don't know if they can see that at home or not, but I try to keep the paper not being on the edge.
Right.
I line it up here. Yes. Then I know my gator board is square, and everyone should know what gator board. Well, if you're a watercolor artist, they should know what gator board is. It's a lightweight board that you can use and carry with you everywhere.
We've talked about it in a few things, and even just it's good to have for anything, even for doing drawings, because you can do it at your easel tape it or clip it to this. You know, it gives you a lot of different options.
It's a great opportunity for plein air use too. If you're a watercolor artist or a drawer or whatever, because it's just super lightweight. All right, so I'm using it today because I just like these for a surface whenever I'm doing anything on paper, even painting too. Now that I have this, I know that I'm going to go 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, almost 9 equal boxes. Well, we're not going to get technically that perfect. We're going to arrange some lines that create a focal point where if you had it, as you said, a tic-tac-toe, where the lines intersect is a great place for a focal point. You see, we've kind of got a third here, a third here, and a third here. Mind you, it's not an exact science. We don't want to be exact. We want a little juxtaposition, and that's going to allow us to do that. So you can see we kind of got 1/3 here, this kind of bluer or cooler area, and then 2/3 of this warmer area. So that is kind of how we're going to create this particular process that I've been doing here recently. So to get started, it's all it is. It's just making a few linear elements, and I'm not thinking like, oh my God, that's 4 inches, that's 6. It doesn't matter. I'm just laying out some linear elements. You see, it's just that easy. Now it doesn't go all the way. What will I do? I'm only going to make a partial line.
Oh.
Maybe this is going to come all the way down. Maybe it isn't. I'm going to move it. That looks good. I'll draw another line. It's all arbitrary. There's not an exact science. Maybe some crisscross lines. Maybe this doesn't go all the way across. I feel like Mr. Rogers. Maybe just, or like Bob
Ross?
Yeah, thank you.
It's a happy little line, though.
Yeah, it's just a happy little line. It goes, I don't know exactly where it goes.
I think he looks real happy right here.
Right. All right, so we have that. All right? Let you do a few there. And while Amy's making her marks, I just wanted to take the liberty of what I did earlier, and you can see where I just drew out some different lines just so that you could see how this process is working. And that in itself is somewhat interesting. And you notice that none of the lines are the same equidistance. I try to, in order to create an interesting effect, the areas that it creates where the lines intersect, I would like the volume of that area to be very different. Some maybe are the same, some are not, because in a way that kind of helps me decide, oh, these 3 here are the same kind of thickness.
Right.
I'm going to make all 3 of them blue.
Right.
You know, it sort of helps me with my color picking process. But there's no rights or wrongs. There's only techniques. So it's just a matter of going out, drawing some arbitrary lines. But we have a focal point in that thirded area. I might add some lines to it later on. You see, she's kind of doing a completely different process. So I'm excited to see somebody else, their take on what I've been doing. But I just wanted to have one so you can kind of see as we go along.
What weight of paper is that you're working on?
This is a 140-pound hot press Fabriano Artistico. However, that's a pretty top quality paper. This can also be done on Fabriano's Studio line, which is more of their student grade paper.
Partial cotton, what, 20% cotton?
Yeah, I believe so.
think?
Instead of the Artistico, which is 100% cotton. But you know, I want to be able to frame these up, put them in a nice gallery, so I try to use the best quality, I think. Not to mention that Fabriano helps me out by sending me some paper every now and then, so I got that going for me.
Name drop them a little more often.
Well, next time I see him in the Carolinas, I'll say, hey, did you see that, Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fabriano, you say?
Yes, Fabriano. From our good friends at Savoir-Faire. So, let's see. She's doing that. Now, I'm going to spice it up a little bit. She's got the black marker. I'm going to take out the red marker.
Uh-oh.
And we'll do some of that lines. And see, this is fun. It's oh, I like what she's doing better than what I'm doing.
As I just drug it along the wet. paint's going on that. It's
That's
okay.
correct. That is correct. There is nothing that at this stage of the game that can't be fixed, because we're using these linear elements. We're going to fill in some of the color, maybe with some scribble scrabble, maybe with some texture, maybe just with a nice smooth coat of paint. But whatever goes in there, at the end, I will go back and also reestablish these lines again, so that they kind of block in any places where maybe your paint went over the black line or the red line, so it fixes it. That's what I do love about using these markers, and that the opacity of them can cover up something from a previous layer. All right. Woo. And the thing is, I want to stay away from looking too stained glassy. You know what I mean? I do want color introduced, but I want it to still be interesting as well.
Sorry, everyone.
Ow.
I know.
No, that was fine. Wasn't the chalkboard? I'm going to do something bold. I'm going out of here.
Uh-oh.
But I'm using straight lines. Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
Stop. You lasher.
Now, if I was really wanted to be, a perfectionist, and I wanted to drop in the color and not mess up anything, I could use some blue painter's tape to kind of give me that really sharp, crisp line on there. If you're going to use blue painter's tape, which is by a company which you all should be familiar with, when you purchase that roll, look for the cardboard core on the inside of it. Instead of being the white core, get the one that's an orange core. The reason why I say that is the cardboard reel that it's wrapped on. I want the orange one because that is for delicate surfaces, and it will release off the paper without it taking any of the paper fiber with it, as opposed to just regular blue painter's tape that you can get in any big box, Home Depot or Lowe's or what have you. All right.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so that's an important point that I learned the hard way. Anyway, okay.
Can I have another color?
Do you want a red or what would you like?
I don't know. Pick one.
Let's look at one that's got a good tip. I just grabbed a bunch.
Oh, yeah. Pick that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, there's a dark blue. Can I have the dark blue? Is it the
Yes,
same?
you're going to do. Oh, look, and the tip is
Oh,
good.
yeah, that's
I
nice.
just saw that. I opened the red one, and
that's
that tip was a little bit
Oh, yeah,
smashed. But the
a little
cool thing
mushy.
is they can be taken down and be replaced,
Ooh.
which most of these markers can. All right, this one I've not tried before, but I'm excited because it's a really
Holy
thick
crap.
line and very weighty. So I hope it works nicely. And if it gets messy, I don't care, because instead of being so tight and crisp like we saw on the canvas, I can go back to the herky-jerky, typical Joe DiGiulio work. All right.
All right. I'm going to get a Soho white because this oozed a little bit under my...
What happened?
It oozed a little bit. Katie, can you get me some so I don't want to bother him. Thank you.
Oh, I smeared.
Yeah, see? It's very juicy, and I think I pushed...
Oh,
it
no,
didn't
that's
go quick
fine.
enough.
Because you're going to paint again, and then we'll
That's
put the
true.
line over. And once you paint, that paint is going to not it won't bleed anymore.
Okay.
Because it's
I know.
drinking into the paper. But once we have the paint
Okay.
on it, and we go to a line over, you'll be good to go.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay.
It's like I was a soccer goalie or something. Okay.
All right. I'm watching her drop that. Maybe I only go that far. No, I have to go all the way to. Nervous.
Yeah, these are acrylic markers, correct?
Yes.
Because I don't smell any scent coming off of them.
Well, I think there's a little bit, but it's not xylene,
Oh yeah, there's no xylene in this.
which is the one that's kind of.
Yeah, that's not.
This is not
That's
working for me.
making class
It's because I'm.
revisited.
There we go.
Are you having issues, Joe?
I need tissues for my issues.
It's like National Geographic up over here.
Oh, hey, I forgot. We're live here. So, yes, like Amy was just demonstrating, you do get some paint on there in the Soho these wipes are fabulous to remove it immediately. And it doesn't take the paint that's, you know, that shows the markings on the rulers. So that was what I liked about it. Like I could get some other things and you see that just taking it and it will come right off. So when I do another color and it leaches onto the ruler, it will not have a residue that we can get the residue off. I guess is the best way of explaining it. And then also the old apron technique.
Yeah, that's what I just did on my dress.
All right. Now I'm just making some bunch of herky-jerky lines. It doesn't really matter. Oh, here we go. Let's see what this one does. Get my paper squared at the bottom so that I make sure my lines are in parallel. But I have done some when I do it, they're a little bit off parallel, just to kind of go, oh, that's not right. Just to be a little bit different. In the paperwork I did earlier this season, I did 10 pieces. And they are now in the Aloft Hotel in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hopefully not underwater.
No, they're not. I called and they said everything was fine.
Did you really call?
I sure did. Yeah.
How's my art?
Yeah, I did. Well, I called the gallery owner who does my placement work over there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And she said everything was fine. We'll see. So when you do it, that right there is a good reason. If you're an artist and you do send your work out to galleries, make sure you get it insured, because that's not going to be up to the gallery to do that, just so you know. And I'd hate for you to find that out the hard way.
That was one of our episodes a couple weeks ago.
See what I just did there?
Drink and spilled it?
No.
Oh.
All right.
To our video.
This is turning into a cleaning. Okay. Anyway. Amy's got that. All right. So you saw the one that I did here, and I could start just dropping in color, right? And as I start to paint colors in, there's nothing that says I can't change it around and add some more lines in there. So we kind of develop things as I go. It's purely by my choice, and that's what I do like about it. It gives me the freedom to pick what I want to do, how I want to do it. And that's what art should be, shouldn't it? The freedom of choice.
Yes. No. Yes. Definitely.
No, yes?
Yes. No. No.
Yes,
Yes.
no.
It's a northern thing.
All right. So we'll put the ruler off to the side for a while. Did you say, oh, great?
I said, all right.
Let's put the top on this one now.
Yeah, here's these.
Yeah, I like the bold and the thin lines. Really haven't fallen in love with the jumbo one, but if I was doing a very big 4 foot by 4 foot, then I would go there, because it'd be a matter of scale. Sort of like my DVD. I think it was the 7th or 8th one I've done. On a matter of scale.
I like the palette knife one.
Oh yeah. All right. So we have that. Now I'm going to take probably my most favorite color, Australian Sienna, and I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to stain the paper, the whole piece.
Okay.
And let's see what happens. I want to see if the markers bleed or not.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that result will be. I'm using this is a Mural number 40 flat white nylon. I like this brush. This is what I use for all of my varnishing work. But I'm using this one today because we're working on paper and I want a smooth, hopefully streakless color tone to what I'm doing here.
So can I do the same but with another color, or would
you can do any? You can follow along if you want, or you can do another color. But I would encourage the initial color to be a transparent one.
Yes, well, I was kind of eyeing that green over there.
Southern Ocean blue.
That's not transparent enough.
It is. This is a
Oh no, the Southern Ocean blue isn't.
Oh, the Southern
That's
Ocean blue is
yeah,
fantastic.
For tinting over this?
Yes,
that
but
would
what
be
you
better?
want to do is make sure that you add enough water to
Yes.
it to reduce it, because it is
Right,
highly
right.
staining.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
And but those are the two
Obviously
fantastic
phthalo.
ones.
Without looking, I was like, that's got to be phthalo. Which do you? I don't know.
I would
I'm
go with
torn.
this one
You like
because
that?
this is my second go-to. If
I
I'm
know,
not
I
doing
just-
something in this color, I'm toning it with that. But light, because
Yeah,
you're already working in a blue. So if you want, you could just drop in some spots of that tone if you like. It's a free-for-all. There's not really any
free-for-all.
rules. It's
Oh,
like, I
don't.
like this color, I'm putting it here. And you know what?
Never telling me it's a free for all.
If you, if
That's
you
where the
don't
trouble
like-
starts, Joe.
If you don't like it, you
Doesn't it,
just
Katie?
cover it up.
All right.
But you can see from this right here that I'm not worried about getting it on the board. That's what the board's for. In fact, one day I've got so many of these boards at home, I'll use the boards and do a retrospective. But the main part is because you have the board, it's easy to turn it around and get to it so I can brush in a manner that will be nice, continuous line. In other words, I'm not going like this. I want it, the streaks, if there's any, to all be the same way. Yeah, there you go. You see with it diluted, and you could even do almost like a bleeding watercolor blue technique if you want. How would you do that? Well, first thing you would do is you do the line of the area with just water. Once that's done, maybe we'll even experiment
wash.
with it. Exactly.
That's what actually what I was. As soon as I put it on, I was like, oh, I should have just done that first.
Well, we'll just do that in another area.
Okay.
My voice is going weird.
You're 13 again,
I
or
got
Mickey Mouse,
excited.
one of those two.
But this is this workshop that I'm going to be doing at Art of the Carolinas will be an all-day workshop, and it will be a lot of fun because it just gives you the chance to explore what you want to do, and I'll be there to help you along the way, to give you some ideas, so when you get caught or something like that, I can say, hey, why don't you try this? And that really will be a marvelous time. I certainly hope it will, and I hope to see you there.
I'll be there.
Of course you will. I think we'll all be there.
You'll be changed to the
Yeah.
Katie
Katie will be your smiling face at the
registration desk
reception
with
area when you check in. But you see, I can just go right up to that line. It don't have to be perfect because that black line is going to be a barrier for that
Right.
light stain to go over, and I don't have to be perfect with it. Now, okay, let's see. I've got that area kind of done.
Okay, so I'm doing this area by default.
And
Just
what-
flashed it.
When I was a kid, I used to do these scrabble kind of things. I'd take a pencil and I'd go all around my paper, right?
I used to love doing that.
And then I would color in the different areas. And the rule was you weren't allowed to let the same color touch itself. In other words, if I had this here, I couldn't put it right next to it. It'd have to skip over one.
I just did that last week.
See? Everybody kind of does it. And it's
like an OCD
It's
thing.
a very innate, intuitive thing. So my whole point is for you, the viewers out there, to realize this is something, yes, you can do. It's not going to, you don't have to have
I don't want
years
to
of artistic training because it's very step by step. Do the lines, color in what you want, what you don't like, let it dry, hit it with a blow dryer, or if it's on canvas, let it dry for a few minutes because it's acrylic, it only should take 15, 20 minutes, and put another color. And if all else fails, there's the good old titanium white to cover it all up.
Very true.
All right. So with that being said, see, I got this mark here. All right. I don't like that mark in there where I kind of overdrew.
awful.
So thank you very much, Amy.
This is very nice. You can see it's very quinacridone gold.
Yes. But what I'll do is I'll do a dab of white and I'll make
Dab of
this
it.
transparent paint now an opaque paint. And what it will do is I'm still going to have it white or light, yeah? But it will now, hopefully I can get it to cover that area, and it might take me a coat or two, but I'll cover that area or the area I didn't want. And I'm pushing the, I don't know if you can see, what I do instead of going like this, I want to push the brush forward so I get that color right on the tip edge.
Shall we move a little bit further over?
Okay,
Do it in the, yeah, kind of.
towards
all right.
here.
What I want you to see, most of the time we go like this, picking up the paint. In this case, when I'm trying to get this edge real sharp, I'm going to push the brush and what I call front loading it, all right? Front load the brush here so the paint is on the tip and not in the belly. And I can kind of
Yep, place it and then pull it.
pull it away and get it that opacity at what you need. And it might be, okay, you see, I still see it peeking through a little bit, but I can, well, I pulled it away there. I can eventually get it. I have to find my white. It might require a little more white. And if it varies the tone of the color, I don't really care because it's all kind of a free-flowing thing. Let that just sit. All right, let's pick out another space. All right, I will do this over here.
Yeah, come on, get your spaces going here, Joe.
Mine will be filled up before yours missing. Maybe it won't. But look at the beautiful tones that you're getting there. And that is the technique or the thing you get more this kind of fluidy or a watercolor type of effect on the paper that you don't necessarily get on a canvas. So that's why today I wanted to show both the canvas and the paper so that they could see.
Yeah, it's nice because it's making some granulating happen over here.
And just about everybody can get a sheet of paper. You know, sometimes we might not have canvas available to us. If you don't, you can always go to jerrysartarama.com and order you some. Shameless.
He used to sell vacuums.
Shameless. Shameless.
Amy, are you using cobalt teal?
No. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Southern Ocean Blue, and it's, where did I put it? Oh,
Southern Ocean Blue, which
it's
is
a phthalo.
actually
it's phthalo green and phthalo
blue mixed
as
together
well. Yep.
evenly. PG7 and PB 15.3.
Yes.
That's the two pigments. So if you don't have Matisse, you can do it with golden phthalo turquoise or get you Liquitex with phthalo blue and phthalo green, mix them together evenly. Both will do it. They're all
which doesn't mean it will turn out exactly like this because everybody's formulation is slightly different, but it's going to be in the ballpark.
That's correct. And the thing about it is that you'll see that the main thing is that you want to use in the initial state the transparent colors. And anything that says phthalo or quinacridone are great synthetic transparent colors because like in my other process that I teach the layering of transparents, then darks, then opaques, then transparents, darks, opaques, and I'm building up layers. So on paper, this is.
Are there any issues with the watercolor paper buckling when you use the acrylics?
You can see it on mine, perhaps from above. It's waving a little bit.
A heavy
But
amounts
it's a lot of water.
If you introduce heavy amounts of water, it can. What you can do is put a thin wash of water down and then introduce the color to it, and that'll kind of get more of a bleeding bloom effect. But more importantly, this is why I use Fabriano, is because unlike some of the other high-level watercolor papers, I've always found that although it buckles up, that it relaxes better than any of them the next day or so. That is I think it has to do with the external sizing of the paper. I'm not a scientist, but it's been my personal experience that that is why I do like this particular paper.
I theorize it may be the vegetable-based sizing instead of animal-based sizing, and maybe something in that.
Well, you're more of the technician than me as far as that goes. Like I said, with me not being a scientist, I'm not sure. But see, now look, I'm just going to take and I'm kind of, oil painters, I think, call this scumbling.
Yes.
and I'm just kind of taking that tone and kind of pulling it over to this other section. You'll see that I just kind of maybe might re-wet.
That's nice.
Do you think a glazing medium would work as well as water, better or worse?
I would, to get this effect on canvas, I would use the glazing medium, but it's not necessary. On paper, water will do the same effect, but you would use the glazing medium to achieve this effect on canvas because it doesn't drink it up. The surface of the canvas doesn't absorb like a paper would. All right? Hopefully I think that answered that. Okay. All right, so I have some transparency. I'm going to get another large area of this color, and then I'm going to move on to my other colors. I love, when I'm working with Australian sienna, you have the Southern Ocean blue, but I like a dark, and in my set I use Prussian blue, because the Prussian blue is my black, because it almost reads as black, and you'll see as we go along what I'm talking about.
Are either of you using a green gold?
The green gold is a golden product, so we don't have that, but what she has is the Australian yellow green, which is very similar to it, and that it happens to be one of the colors I did go over there to do with the folks in Australia at Matisse, because that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to use that color to be competitive with the green gold. I consider this to have a brighter intensity than the green gold does.
Yeah, the green gold is kind of yellowier, kind of almost orangey.
It's somewhat, to
By
me,
comparison
almost
to
a
this.
little bit drabber
Yeah.
in nature than this. But this you have to be careful. Like, see, she's picked small areas, and that's what you want to use. That if you have a really large area of this color, it tends to turn out a little garish. So I'm trying to move away from that, not be so much in the face with that color. It's more of a spice color, all right? It's the bling. Right now, we're just putting the cocktail dress together. Then we'll put the jewelry on. This is more like the jewelry at the end. But see the staining power of this tone, of this particular color. It can go from a very dark to this almost like a yellow. This is why I love this Australian sienna, my favorite of all the colors. All right, now that I actually have worked this backwards today, haven't I? I certainly have. We'll have to stay with it that way. All right. Oh, what do we got in here?
I don't. There must be something.
Oh, it's sludge.
Oh, nice.
Nice job of cleaning.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Yeah, we didn't
I
plan
put water in it, but I
Did
didn't
not plan
check
that.
there was sludge. Do you want my water bucket? This is clean. I'll throw it.
Say what?
I was flicking water on you.
I know.
We're just seeing if you're paying attention.
Uh-huh.
Say what?
We're just seeing if you're
I'm
paying
listening to him.
I was. I'm trying. All right. Now, let's take a new color, okay?
I like this.
What's happening here?
I like it. That's it. It's very nice.
But what you have is actually,
orange.
see, I'm going to do the warm, she's
nice,
doing
yeah,
the cool.
yeah.
I can go with that.
Yeah.
So, when I've established that I'm thinking I'm going to do mostly a warm, how I'm going to create a focal point is I'm going to use a cool in the area I want them to focus. Like,
Yep.
what here is not the same.
Right.
And
right,
your
right.
eye will connect with that.
Right.
All right? So we will be using, like, I might pick up some of that green and dab it in here later on, and we'll see that, but it's a little early for that now. I have my transparent. Now I'm doing my dark because I'm taking my painting process, transparents,
Right.
darks,
Opaques.
opaques. And then I can take the opaque area that I covered up because I didn't like something and put a transparent on it. And then I go through the process. So I'm building layers of transparents, darks.
Transparents, darks, opaques. Oh my.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's been said in my class before.
Well, leave it to me to say something that's already been said.
Well,
Because that never happens here.
so,
Finish this espresso.
my Prussian blue. Moving on here. Don't be rushing when you're applying the Prussian, okay? Be here all day, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't you spit that out.
Do you need a napkin? Do you need a towel?
Nope, I'm all right.
Okay. All right, so you can see that rich tone. Okay, yes, you can see that that's a blue, all right?
Yeah.
But right here, full strength, it would be hard to distinguish that from being black or blue, especially when it's up against a lighter
Yes.
color. So I use this in a lot of my work as my black.
I think it reads on canvas more as a black than it does on paper.
I agree with
I've
that.
noticed. That's your favorite color. That's my favorite color.
When
I know it's just blue and black mixed together to make Prussian blue, but it's still my favorite color. I was very sad when I found out it wasn't just like a single pigment. Oh, it's got black in it. Oh, the magic was gone.
No, don't be rushing when it comes to Prussian. All right, we're using today Creative Inspiration short handle brush. This happens to be the short flat set. I think that is part of the list. But I do like them because, one, inexpensive. Two, acrylic handle. I don't know about you. I leave it in the water overnight. I come back, my brush.
You don't. You better not.
Yeah, I do. I do. Who doesn't? Everybody cleans up everything.
The brush Nazi does it.
You are not working in your studios enough.
Oh no. I'm just taking the extra time to clean my brushes.
Show me a clean studio, and I'll show you. Show me a clean studio, and I'll show you an artist is not producing. No, that's wrong, because there are a lot of classically trained, beautiful portrait artists that are meticulous. I know a
You
gal.
don't want transfer.
Do you dress up when you paint?
No. I have skirts that have handprints all over them.
I know people that will actually they dress up, put makeup on, do their hair to paint. It gets them in that, I don't know, that level of...
The UPS man used to be terrified when I had a home studio if he had to deliver something. When I would come to the door the first time, he thought that I'd had an accident because I was covered with paint.
Uh-oh.
No, what? And then I went and looked in the mirror. I was like, oh, okay, well. That does read as black.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the paper. But that's nice and thick, too.
Well, that's right. I'm putting it full
Yes.
strength exactly for that reason. And this is not me, because I have gotten a little bit of a shaky hand in my older age.
It happens
So-
over 30.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you're still real close to it, right?
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah.
But you can see now that I'm thinking about it, my hands
Yeah,
are
I
there.
know.
going all
That's
crazy.
always how it works.
And I'm
too.
a lefty too, as you
I know.
are. So it's like, how much of my
Lefties unite.
palm can I get into the artwork?
I know. You're not. That's how you know if you've been working or not. Is if you got it all over your left hand, right?
Exactly. Okay. So there's a couple of ones. Now, it might be a little bit messy there. Well, I'll just take a
can
little
fix it,
white
yeah.
and fix that later on. But we're going with that for right now.
All right.
Now, what's next?
Can I get some Prussian blue? 'Cause
Oh,
now I want
I
some, too.
didn't know that I should have been giving that to you way
Yeah.
earlier. There you are. All right, she has
Both
that.
are in the Prussian blue.
Got to keep it warm. So she's using the Prussian blue, and I am using the transparent red oxide. Another great
that's my
transparent
favorite color.
Wait a second. That's,
Prussian blue and then transparent red oxide.
you
Is
should
like,
probably pick up the Joe DiGiulio
Yeah.
set.
Where would I get that from, though?
Well, that'd be jerry'sartarama.com. I don't know. The girls could probably give you a link to that if they really
You
wanted
think?
to do something. Okay. This is kind of getting messy. So, when I'm working, a painting like that might take 15, maybe 20 hours because I'm being very meticulous. We got an hour or two here today, so we might get a little more mucky right now.
Get Russian.
I'm going to get Russian. I'll get out without using the... I got to get Russian without using the Prussian?
Oh,
Okay.
Amanda.
She
We'll have
did
words
it.
later.
What happened?
No, I'm just teasing her.
All right. So you see, it's just an application of color. It's not really any kind of rocket science, guys and gals. You know, I used to think that, oh, if I only have that brush, you know, I'm going to be able to do this fantastic. Well, it's not really the wand, it's the wizard behind it.
You're right.
You know?
Oh,
It's like
boy.
you're not going into a workshop at 9 o'clock and 9:15 you're Van Gogh. You know, you've got to actually put the work in. Yeah, Sharon's going to say, well, how come you haven't painted enough at the house? Hi, honey. I'm sure she's watching.
Oh, she is.
I'm sure she's probably going to get ready to comment now.
What makes you think she hasn't already?
Oh.
Because you haven't mentioned anything.
That doesn't mean it.
No, I was
didn't
gonna say
happen.
they're waiting.
Oh, God.
like
The
tigers,
chat,
they're gonna
that
pounce, I
chat
know.
room must be just
I
going
know.
off now. Yes. So I hope that everybody in your viewing area is survived the hurricane. We've had
Yes.
quite a bit where it was touch and go whether we were going to do this today because, heck, last week we didn't know if the building would be here. But we made it through, and everyone seems in this vicinity, we're located here in Raleigh, North Carolina, seems to be doing okay. Okay, so I introduced a little bit more darker, but it's still in the warm family, okay?
Oh, look at that.
Woo. Let's do another one of those. And then we can do a tertiary colors of mixing the two warm colors together to get us that third tone in between. And it's just plain picking, mixing, testing, working it.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Brennan Day asked me to tell you that this is better than Neo Geo.
Oh,
Oh,
Brennan, it is not better than Neo Geo.
That
In
sounds like
case you
trash
don't know,
talk.
Neo Geo is some of Brennan's artwork, but really, I mean, there's a bit of his influence here in the linear elements that he did. But he was doing the style that was very geometric in nature, some of his recent body of work, and he brought it in. He's going, I didn't know what to call it. And I said, well, it's Neo Geo, like it's geometric, but it's the new geometric. So there's the thought process on that term. Thank you for that compliment there, Brendan. And we're glad to see that you're watching today.
What's that rusty color you're using right now?
Rusty. Oh,
This
that
rusty
hurts my
nail
heart. That hurts
is
my heart.
a red oxide. But more importantly, it's not just an ordinary red oxide. It's a Joseph DiGiulio created transparent red oxide. Transparent is the key. Funny thing happened. Matisse came out with that color, and I swear to God, a month or two later, Liquitex and Golden had a very similar color come out. So they've added the transparency into their lines. But the rusty color is great. And by the time it mixes with that, if I get some of that rusty color and mix it with the blue, it's going to be like this prison
dirty.
wall green.
Yep, very dirty green.
Yeah,
It's
with
dirty.
the bucket color, color of the water in your bucket. But the thing about that, it's not just junk. There's use for a color like that because what you can do when you have that color, it's that tertiary tone that is a soft, muted, quiet tone that you can incorporate in the outer edges. I want sharp, brilliant color what I want you to see, and as my eye moves away from the area that I want you to look at, I will mute the colors. So maybe I'll just take some
Ooh, I
bucket water
like that.
and do some staining. That was a good idea. So we got this kind of green mucky bucket water, right?
Is that yuck it? Is that the official term?
It's-
Green muddy.
I'm going to go with
water
yuck
yuck
it. I don't want you know.
Is that going to be an
It's
addition?
gonna be an addition to the
I like
to the
it's
DiGiulio.
yuck it green as opposed to the other one I'm thinking of. I don't care green. Are you with me?
Oh yeah, that's funny.
But see, all right. Instead of staining the water, just using stained clean water, right, to kind of get that absorbing, bloomy watercolor effect, I could just use some of the dirty bucket water. Here's what I know. It is in perfect harmony with the colors
Yeah.
you're using because it's
it's the colors
made
you're
from
using?
the colors you're using.
Yeah. What? Blasphemy.
But see, I can take, okay, I kind of like where we were going with that. So let's take a little bit of that. You have the Prussian? No,
yes,
you don't.
yes I do.
No, you have,
Right
you
over
do?
here.
Oh.
I realized I was
I
holding
sort of-
like 4 things in my again.
Okay,
Multiple
so I'm
things
going
in
to
my-
take,
You want
let's-
to see me at
let's do
home? I look
this.
like Wolverine on both sides.
I'll bring this over to where you can see it. I'm going to pull this out and get a cleaner sheet of paper.
I want
I'm
to see
gonna
what my
take-
yuck at water looks like.
Okay,
How's
well, I
it
don't really want to throw this out, so I'm going to just set this back here.
yeah,
Don't lean on it, because, oh, that was not good.
Oh, Joe. Here, Soho wipe.
Maybe,
I'm going to throw it away now.
You can't see, he just got it all over his frame. Here.
Yeah, I got it all
maybe,
over.
maybe move it off to the side so it doesn't.
I threw it away.
It garbage down.
Yeah, let's move this
This is
Yeah.
off to the
perfect.
side,
Yeah,
perhaps.
Oh,
Oh, there's still blue.
Move the frame.
Here, blue, still. There we go. All right.
she's cleaned it for us. Thank you. All right, now,
Sad when I'm the not messy one here.
that's sad.
Yeah,
A
well,
little,
no,
yeah.
it's unprecedented because it's usually me.
Like I said, I'm the one leaving the brush in the dirty water, yeah? Okay, so I've got some of this contaminated, I have some of this contaminated Prussian blue and the transparent red oxide that I had on my palette. I wanted to get a new sheet of paper and I didn't want to throw it away. So I'm going to take this, I'll blend it together, a little dab of water, and let's introduce a little white, but I'm not going to put the white right in the middle of it. Let me see if I can slide this a little bit here. I think you can get it in the shot now. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to
Yes.
put the white off to the side here, right? And now instead of the white in here, you'll make a pile of paint that way. Let's take what I have on the brush and introduce it to the white over here separately. And it makes this god-awful
This sounds
drabby green.
like
But
a
you know what?
Tinder date
You're
gone
thinking
wrong.
that might be ugly, but how many of you walls in your living room are painted that color? You know? This is just another tone of
I
that.
like that color.
It is a great color
Very
because it's a
nice.
soft color and it will work with the composition. Let's see how it does.
You know what would look nice with that? The unbleached titanium that I'm going to steal from you. I know, that's my favorite.
I love
This
the
is my
Australian
white.
colors. They're so pretty.
You know how many tubes
can
of
eat them.
unbleached titanium I
Don't-
have in oil
don't
from
eat
different
them, eat.
manufacturers?
How about the ghost gum?
Like about 5
love
of them.
ghost gum.
Yes, I like that.
What about parchment?
And the salmon.
Yes, that's very pretty. Don't say that.
What are some of your favorite colors out
Yeah.
there? No?
Yeah, ask Bonnie. We already know what Patty's is, copper.
I like shiny things.
Oh, this
If
is
you had
pretty.
gold on yours, Amy, I would fight for it.
I like blue and glitter.
Blue and what?
Glitter. Anything sparkly or shiny.
Some go shine.
I think if I were a bird, I'd be a magpie.
I don't even know where to put this. I'm just like, I like this.
No colors touching
Eeny,
colors.
meeny,
Joe.
miny,
No,
moe.
it's
Yeah.
touching.
What are your top 3 tips for people who are starting to paint with acrylics in this style?
Let me think.
question.
Meanwhile, some of our favorites are Australian gum tree,
Yeah,
roses and
great color.
quinadones, purple and yellow, turquoise and teal.
Well, I went to East Carolina, so I have a propensity for purple
Yeah.
and gold. But it's got to be the right ones. Dioxazine purple is huge, has a huge stain content, so you've got to back it off a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's not
with
red
a,
enough for.
Well, a dab of white, just a dab, will not lavender it too much. It'll just make it like, oh, that's purple, not dark, not black, because it is so highly concentrated. And you know, I should speak about that because that's really the one that I find myself using of those color tones. Okay, this is really working god awful. I'm not sure I like that. So.
You know, Joe.
And it's because I'm being too tight with it. Sometimes you just have to kind of get a little mucky. But you go, oh, that doesn't look good. When this dries, I'm going to reintroduce those lines. Don't forget, the lines are going to come back in. Once the lines are back in, it's going to be fabulous. Right?
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Okay. Now, yeah. That.
Oh crap!
She did it.
I did. I somehow
Okay.
have every color.
So,
in my-
is anybody out there painting also? Are you working while we're working? Or are you just observing, or you just drinking some wine? What?
They're all watching and enjoying, and nobody's asking questions. It's really odd.
We're all mesmerized. I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have them mesmerized, or are they all just still underwater?
Zombified. Oh yeah.
No, they're all watching, mesmerized, watching the color go on. They
I have
love
a person who's still waiting for those top 3 tips.
Yeah, come on, Joe.
Okay, tip number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Tip number 2, everything is the small stuff. Tip number 3, when in doubt, titanium white. If you don't like it, you can cover it up. In other words, don't fall in love with the work. Don't go, oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever done, because 6 months from now, you'll be doing more work, and your natural artistic progression will be like, wow, I go back and look at something you did a year ago and go, ooh,
Like,
what
wow,
I
that was
think?
crap.
Think it was the greatest thing in
Yeah.
the world. I'll
Yeah.
never let it go. And it's like, oh, what was I thinking? But that's how you know you improve, though. See, that's the important part, is going back and looking at stuff. And a lot of stuff that I did maybe a year or two ago that I really didn't like, I could go back into it and add some kind of feature that I picked up over the past year. That's where you can go back. Problem solving is the fun part of painting to me, is finding some way of taking an idea that didn't work. And sometimes you just gotta, like my professor said, back in the day, just put the painting away and come back and look at it in a different light. That is probably one of the most important things.
Yes.
But don't sweat it. You know, this is supposed to be a fun activity. It's not supposed to be something to be that you're dreading about. All right?
Yeah. Each piece, the piece you're currently working on, is not what's going to define you as an artist. I think so many people are worried that it's got to look perfect.
Well, I see, the thing is, I'm all messy here, but what you have to do is to learn how to manage controlled chaos. Take something that's mucky and make it your theme instead of being so perfect, because we don't live in a perfect world. And my artwork tries to reflect where we're at today. I try to do, I would say that would be a good way of describing what I'm doing is, because see, this to me, when I got this idea, I'm thinking, Piet Mondrian meets Tommy Hilfiger. that was my whole color approach to the whole thing, all right? So,
Hey, Amy, what colors did you mix to make that green? The Australian ocean blue?
This
Yeah.
here?
or this green. This green is right out of the tube,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
This isn't?
There's some unbleached titanium in there.
Oh, a little dab. Where's the, oh,
It's over there. It's getting all
It
mixed
is
in.
Australian yellow green, and we added the titanium white, which will actually mute it out, and it's great. See, titanium green.
This is actually unbleached. I've got this in with it
Okay, what the thing is,
to warm it up.
she applied this in the place you want to look straight out, and then take some of the unbleached titanium, mix it with this, and make some of the softer muted tones that don't stand out. See, I use that really, really brilliant, bright color to get you to look in that area. And then I soften the color in the areas I don't want you to spend a lot of time, because that's going to give your eye of the observer a resting point, because it gets real busy if it's all over the place everywhere. So you got to make some strong statements and then soften or quiet down your art in the outer areas. At least that's my approach.
Well, especially when you're dealing with abstraction, things can get busy quickly.
Well, the thing about
Should be busy
abstraction,
in
there's
place,
no
but-
rule. I mean,
Right.
there's no tree, there's no lighthouse, there's no roll of hay in the field. So you don't have any visual cues to go, oh yeah, that's a roll of hay. I know that's the focal point. So you have to do it with color or intensity of color.
This is messy.
But as far as your artwork goes, it's like Andy Warhol would say. He was in the art factory, production. So it's just do the work. Don't worry about it. Don't focus on it. What happens if you're doing a process where you're doing, like, say, instead of just painting one piece, you have 5 or 6 laid out, and you do the blue, the blue, the blue, the blue, the yellow, the yellow, the yellow. You don't tend to not think about it so much. And it tends to just come out of you more intuitively, as opposed to sitting there and fretting on what the next color should be. Just go, just go, just go. Because it's a numbers game. You know, you do 10 pieces, you're probably going to at least sell 3 of them, you know, if you really frame it up and make it, you know, nice and presentable. So that's always been a great number. I found that in life. Guys that go in the Hall of Fame in baseball, they get a hit 3 out of 10 times. It's a numbers game.
Or it counts as a hit.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And see, I'm not real crazy about this color, but I can clean it up, and when we put some lines in there, I can juice it up a little bit. But maybe I want to do something a little different here. We've got some red marker here. Maybe I'm just going to fill this in with some scratchy red marker. What's he doing? It's not a color. It's scratching in there with... It's choice. Does it have to be perfect? No, I want some irregularity in there, a little messy, because that's what the world is. You know, it's a little irregular, a little messy. It's a little. It's a lot messy nowadays, it seems like.
Joe's actually a professor of philosophy as well, right?
Well, life is philosophy, and that just comes with age,
Yeah.
young lady.
Oh, I like you so much. We're gonna
Be
go
careful,
with that.
his wife's watching.
I don't think that's going to make any difference.
I was to say, she'll be like, somebody to ship him off to. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, that might be more of the thing. All right, now. What do we want to do here? Let's do this. Oh, Southern Ocean Blue. You got it over there? Right there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you need something over there like the green to sit over there?
I'll just set it back there and then I
Okay.
can grab it if I need it. So how many workshops are you doing at AOC?
I'm doing 3.
3.
And we've got, on the first day, my classic abstracts. If you're a basic and you have not, ooh, I like that. If you, it's the basic startup. If you've not had a lot of painting or exposure to abstraction, the first day's class is great for you because it's free flowing. It's just you finding out who you are. That's kind of what we do in that class. I'm adding a little titanium white to this. And I will need to get some clean water too at some time. If you guys, one of you all from back in the there can help us with that. So the first day is more like the classic beginner's abstracting class. It's organic, we do everything. And then the next day, the Friday class, which is this, is the geometric. So we go from a very loose, organic, free-flowing, find yourself kind of day to a more sharper edge, but still develop some of this colorful freeness. This is because this is a great class for choices.
Okay.
And then the final class is all about intuition. On Saturday's class is the speed painting class, where we're working solely on paper, and we're going to be doing 20-minute drawing class. It's almost like figure drawings, except not doing figures. We're doing abstracts.
Set a timer.
So you don't have time to think about it and go, oh, should I have done this? Should I have done that? No, you don't have to do any of that. It's just, and it really helps people to find who they are.
See, that's the bad thing about AOC.
Yeah, you want
I've got
to
a demo,
like 3
so
or
I
4
can't
days.
Yeah, I got a demo, so I can't take the workshops.
Thank you so much. Well, the great thing about the premium that you get with Art of the Carolinas is having so many artists under one roof. Usually you go, oh, I want to take a workshop from this guy. I want to take a work from this guy. Well, I got to go take their class. I got to get a hotel room. I got to drive to wherever I'm going, take his class. And I got to come home and then, oh, I want to do this guy. Well, 2 weeks later, you got to go get another hotel room. You got to drive here, this and that, the other. You know, there's a whole chain of events that have to go on, and for you to have to be able to take the workshop. The great thing about Art of the Carolinas is it's all under one roof. You can take 8 to 10 workshops, exposing yourself to many different artist styles in just a few days, which could either be the greatest experience you ever had, or it could totally discombobulate you because you might overdo yourself. Some overextend themselves. So I encourage them to take some, but also take a break so that they can do some shopping too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if you all don't know what we're talking about, Art of the Carolinas is always held the 2 weeks prior to Thanksgiving. This year it's November 9th through, I think, 11th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Might have workshops. Is it the workshops on the 8th or the 9th? I know
I
that
think
Thursday.
It's 8th, 9th, 10th.
Here's
and
what you need
11th,
to
isn't
know.
it, Katie?
Look on your calendar where Thanksgiving is. It's always on a Thursday. Look 2 Thursdays before that. That's the beginning of Art of the Carolinas, always around Veterans Day.
Classes start on the 8th.
Classes start on the 8th. That's Thursday. Thank you, Sharon. I know that.
Was it Sharon or
Ratios
Frida?
9th, 10th, and
Oh, it's
11th.
Frida.
Workshops
You just
start
got
on
the evil eye.
Oh, very good. Evil eye. What's that?
Frida gave you the evil eye.
What?
Because it was Frida looked it up, I think.
Oh.
You said thank you, Sharon, and she was like,
Oh,
look
well, I
at you
thought
like-
it was my wife chiming in. She's probably over us already.
I think she was channeling herself through me.
Oh,
Ah,
Probably.
that's what had
Be
happened.
careful with that.
Mhm.
That could get you.
Okay. So we're doing all these kind of crazy colors. Now, maybe I want to do something mucky. I don't want to be all perfect. You don't have to do this. You carry what you're doing is good. But I'm going to actually
We're gonna try
introduce.
something different.
I don't know if we had this on the list. This might have been something that I forgot about. But it is the Jerry's Jumbo Jet Black Pencil. I think I left it off, didn't I? Might have. And because I know I didn't bring one, and I found one right here. And it's one of my favorite marking tools because I like to kind of take and make some lines in here from time to time where I'm going to muck up a little bit.
Like the one.
Like the earlier one,
Yeah,
yes.
like that.
So it might be that I'm just going to use it to scribble something in, or maybe I just want to start getting a little bit looser. What is he doing? He's ruining it.
I love it how he turns into an angry grandmother. What is he doing?
What happened?
Joseph.
Well, that's the great thing about it. You can kind of do whatever you want here. But getting it mucked up a little bit is kind of fun. But it also kind of gives it a little more character to the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Something a little bit different. And it kind of loosens me up that I don't feel so restricted. Because I find when I'm painting and making the serious sharp edges on everything, I can do it for a couple hours and I have to break because I get tight. Neck muscles start to get sore. So anyway, try a little something different. Why not? It's just having a fearless approach. Now see, Amy's doing hers very nicely. She has very nice sharp edge colors and I'm running amok over here a little bit. So, thanks Amy.
It's practice from letter and type design class with that big
Oh
flat
my
brush.
God, I know what you mean there.
Well, I'm sure you took letter and type design by hand like I did.
Oh God, yeah.
Before computers, that was.
I did, and my thing was, together we stand, and I had a typeface that was tight, and then I took that typeface and broke it down, and it's divided we fall.
Nice.
So it was like all split up. I think I got a C on that one. Like he thought that was two. And this was back in the 70s.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
so appropriate, so
Yeah.
timely. And he was like, yeah, man, you're just selling out.
What? You're selling? It's a
Yeah.
freaking project. You're learning. It's not about the slow. You weren't in advertising.
It was a commercial ad class.
Oh yeah. Okay. No. But the thing is, okay. But you're not
I
in
switched-
marketing. You're the one that they would take the stuff to, and then you do it.
I
not-
switched my major next semester to art education and minored in sculpture, so.
I did the same thing.
Minored in sculpture?
No, I was a graphic design major, and then it was like, yeah, forget this.
Yeah, that's not me.
No.
It's not me.
Never had the pleasure of dropping a class more than the day I did that.
All right, I'm going to introduce some of this. And oh, don't ruin it. I'm making my own peanut gallery there. Do you notice that? I'm like,
You are.
boy, ain't right.
Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
What did you do?
It was a top to something. Oh, I messed that up. Well, we're really
I know.
quiet now.
I know. Okay, so am I supposed to take the pencil and get jiggy with it, or can
No,
I
no.
just... Okay.
I did that. You don't have to do it. I just did it so that they could see. Get cheeky.
Yeah, she's just doesn't like my reference, apparently.
I have a viewer that says she's interested in the defense of geometric art. She says she's one of those that says, what is that when viewing that style? Go.
What is geometric art?
And what and why is geometric art?
Geometric art is art that uses more of an angles and four basic lines. They would be horizontal, vertical, an angular line, and maybe a curvilinear line. This is the four basic linear elements, and this is something I picked up from another fellow artist, Sterling Edwards. He'll also be teaching at Art of the Carolinas. He is a great artist, and that was one thing we did a workshop together, and that was one of the things I actually picked up from him. Using geometrics basically is a hard edge or an angular line, as opposed to a more loose or organic, maybe floral flowing kind of composition. So that's what and basically it's only my self-association. It's not written in stone, so to speak, okay? It's the geometry, I'm thinking geometry, right angles, things of that nature when I'm talking about geometric. And this if you're familiar with my art, you can see the juxtaposition of this compared to my more organic art. You can just go to DiGiulioStudios.com to view that, and you'll be able to see that work. So you can see the
Should have had a
difference.
little bell for this one.
I know. See how many rings we could get by the end of the.
Sometimes
What,
we
like
have
Trader
to,
Joe's?
type up our
Yeah, Trader Joe. I'm the original Trader Joe. But see, now I'm just going to take full strength this titanium and just pull it on out.
I like what you just did.
What?
Smudge it.
Omar wants to know how you place the lines to be the most aesthetically pleasing. Is there any rule for the placement?
Yes, we probably came in the
Yes.
middle. We addressed that at the very beginning. And Omar, it's the rule of thirds. It might be something you want to look up, but basically it's the what pattern?
It's your tic-tac-toe.
There you go. It's if you put like a format and you divided your paper horizontally and vertically in thirds with a linear element, it would give you like a tic-tac-toe format. Landscape artists do use it. Let's say in this case here, you would have 1/3 land, 2/3 sky, or 2/3 land, 1/3 sky. You could have that in the portrait format or in the landscape format. And when we talk about the rule of third, it's trying to determine a focal point in your work. I'm going to have most of the interest right here, because where the tic-tac-toe, kind of, if you had those lines, if we laid an overlay of the tic-tac-toe on top of the piece, there would be 4 places where lines intersect. Pick one of them, make that your focal point, and develop outward. In other words, a landscape artist, the barn is not in the middle of the picture if it's a good. It's in one of those corners, and you'll see that the road or the path to the barn winds around, and as it comes to the foreground, it widens, and as it goes into the background, back to the barn, it narrows. That gives us that fake sense of depth and perspective. So that's what we're doing, actually trying to create an idea of a 3D format in a 2D setting when you're talking about landscaping. But this is a completely different animal because we don't have any subject matter. Someone said, well, Joe, what do you paint? I said, I do Seinfeld paintings. Seinfeld paintings?
Painting's about nothing.
Yep.
What's that show about?
Nothing. Yep.
About nothing.
That's exactly, no subject matter. So I don't have that barn to get you to focus on, so I have to do it using those principles, Omar, of the rule of thirds and applying them in abstract format. And that's what we're kind of trying to do today. I don't know if that explained that to you, but that's all I got. It is what it is.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Now, where can I do the justice? Oh, let's take.
Yeah, wait a second. Now all of a sudden you're taking off with all
Well, I'm
this
just
stuff.
going and doing. I'm just
See,
getting a
I
little
shouldn't have
herky-jerky,
done
and that's
so-
what we do. We get a basic
Yeah.
setting down, and then we just kind of go from there.
Shot myself in the foot making so many boxes.
Well, it's just a matter of time. What
Yeah.
you're doing is actually excellent. I'm enjoying this. I like how you have developed tone and weight, in that you have some of these large areas here, but you've had the key to success in these kind of compositions is you see that she has this shape here, and she has that shape here. You can have the same shapes, but the critical part, I think, to the success of this kind of work is to vary the volume of the shapes. They can be squares, they can be triangles, but if everything is this same thing, it's just a boring checkerboard. I could have big squares outside and come to my focal point and use the size of the volume of the shape I create to almost kind of compress, or to give you the idea of condensing, or maybe the idea of falling back into space because they get smaller, larger in the foreground, smaller in the background. So we can use all of these different sizes and volume shapes to actually create a more interesting composition. That makes sense? Everybody with me on that?
Joe,
Omar, I hope I answered your question.
Dan Nelson says, a hearty amen from him.
Well, Dan the man. Dan is a fantastic artist in any kind of medium one. And one thing I know that Dan said that I've always thought about, it's kept in my mind, and it comes to like when you're painting landscapes, you can use any colors that you want. It doesn't have to be real colors. Dan, this one's for you. Dan once said that, what is it? Let me think for a second. I don't want to mess it up. That color gets the credit that value deserves. Having the correct value
I like that.
is what makes it work. Putting any other kind of color, you know,
Definitely.
it's just a matter of, if you have the right value, it doesn't matter what the color is. The sky can be purple
Right.
if it's the right tone and intensity of it. So Dan, thank you very much for watching. I hope I haven't messed up your credentials any.
I think just admitting that you know him probably is.
Yeah, I know. What are you going to do? It's out there, though. Now, so.
I know. Well, he made the comment, right?
Yeah, Dan, it's all your fault, Dan.
April was asking if you ever have or would you add a rounded shape to this type of a painting? Or do you stick purely to the geometrical angular shapes?
That's a
No,
good question.
round
question.
has a place.
Why do I feel like there's going to be a
Great
punchline?
question. Here's the thing. If I've got a composition and everything is right and left, right angles, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, right? And then I introduce a circle, what is that circle going to become?
The center of interest.
It will be the focal point. So I have done the old 3-circle technique before, where you'll take a lid and you turn it in your paint. I'm not going to do it here, but you turn it in your paint. So I get paint all along the lip. I sit it down and I turn it, and I make a perfect ring there. 1, 2, 3. I might even do this here. That was it. That April.
Yeah.
It said that. Is that who
Who
it
said
was?
Yes, April.
Yes. I might go there. We'll have to let this dry. But yes, there's nothing wrong with circles, or the whole piece could be circles. Maybe they're not all on the board. It could be this gigantic circle. We only got half of it on there, and it's overlapping like a Venn diagram. Everybody remember their math? Venn diagram, the overlapping of tones? Okay, and then I could actually do that, and then maybe those straight linear elements could be the thing that actually be the focal point. So yes, the circle is fabulous. I just don't do it. Huh?
Do
Now-
it,
now
do
they
it,
want you
do
to-
I
it.
might do
Maybe
it.
a circle.
You need a circle.
Well, you know, what can I say? I got paint that's going to dry. No, here's the good thing. Picking. Where can I go? I really want to go right here, but this has to dry first. But instead, in this case today, I could use the marker
Oh, yeah.
to do my
There you
circle,
go.
right? Or
Yeah.
if you have a compass,
Right.
put the marker in a compass. You could do that too. But we're not ready to go there yet. And I always have 3 circles on all my work.
Yes,
well,
you do.
They're
That's how we
just
know
really dots, but
That's how you know it's done.
my signature.
Amy, I hear the wheels turning.
What?
I can feel them
Oh.
turning. How
Oh
hard
man,
it's
I just
moving.
splattered. I just splattered on my piece.
Oh, that
Oh,
hurts
shucks.
so
Do
bad.
that, Amy.
No, Amy, Amy's staying under control.
Okay, I can't look over there now because you did that. You know that. That killed me a little inside when you just did that.
Why is that?
It just.
Because I kind of was a rule breaking.
No, because it's like jazz. To me. I don't like jazz.
You don't like jazz?
No, God, no. That's why. Oh, we got on this too. Joe.
Why? You can't notice that.
Oh,
Use
now
white.
now I'm gonna cry.
What was the first rule? Don't sweat the small stuff.
Don't
And the
What was
second
it?
one is
Everything is the small stuff. Give yourself a break, right? Okay. Now.
This is.
Just a paper towel. Pushing some paint around. Oh, that might be too much there.
Oh. All right. Yeah, you got way much more done here than.
Amy, shake it out.
Because Amy, it's not.
What
the,
is this, like the
it-
Wiggles or something?
It's not the destination. It's the journey.
Oh God. Is that better, Amanda?
Are you having fun though?
No, I'm having a great time.
Okay, no. Are you having fun? No, I'm having a great time. Okay.
No, I am. This is fine.
What's
I'm having a
funny
good
is that
time.
color doesn't pick up at all. So it looks like you just painted it with water.
There, now does it?
Yay!
It hurts my
Right,
heart.
you can get loose like that. Don't. Okay.
There's a little bit inside that just, I think I shaved a couple years off my life with that.
I'm sorry to hear
Right
that.
there.
Okay. Turn
Joe
around, turn
DiGiulio,
around. Oh, I
special
like
artist
that.
And life shortener.
Freedom. Yes, this gives. But can you not see how that gives a little bit of character?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you see how you've got
Yeah.
these little pink things? That suggests that, I'm going to make you look right where I want you to and use full strength red.
I did, and then I didn't like it, so I
Just
dialed
one.
it back.
Just one.
Just one.
Just
Okay.
one.
All right.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
No?
No,
And
I'm here.
I am trying to find my white.
Can you give it to Amy?
Oh, thank you.
I believe that's your white.
Well, I should say the white.
Everybody's really excited to try this at home, by the way.
Well, I'm glad to hear it because it is something that you can do. It's, this is something that everybody at home, number one, probably already has all the stuff to do. But using the line just to kind of give you something to quick start. And now we can kind of get creative with some loose color tones, see?
Also, I feel like this is a style that like really transcends media. Like you can use it in just about everything, right?
As you say, yes, absolutely. It's whatever the market will bear.
Yes to that lavender.
Yeah, I was just like, I got Prussian blue and naphtha red. I should be doing something else here.
Now, see, and see, I got a little white there. So what? To just get some more of this brown. I don't even think we're going to get to the canvas, but you kind of get the general idea. We're doing the same thing. The only difference would be we would use a glazing medium instead of water so much for doing that kind of transparent wash technique, all right?
Okay, so what were you just doing over here? That was.
I didn't do it.
I
If
heard
I
some
did, I
moving.
confess. I didn't.
I heard splishing and splashing over here.
Splishy and splash it. No, I don't know.
Pleading the fifth, are you? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Okay.
I am looking for, oh, there we go. My question to the viewers are we enjoying this? Or
They
you,
are.
Very much.
What do we got for people looking today?
We got up to 100 on YouTube, which is good for how new we still are.
Yes.
Well, that is great. That's great for any streamer.
We had upwards of 170 on Facebook.
Wow, great.
That's just at one time too, so we've got people
Right.
coming
Yeah.
in now.
Right.
Well, we got people also probably going to dinner and things like
Yeah,
that nature
right.
too.
The nice part is that it stays on Facebook and YouTube, so if they miss the live, they
Yeah,
can always go back.
they
and
can see
watch
the
it.
rerun.
Mhm.
Can you guys program that to run too?
It's just there. You can
Yeah.
use it anytime.
Oh, that's true. YouTube.
Yep.
Duh.
And
Same
Facebook.
with Facebook.
Well, I'll just,
We exist for forever.
I could do a link. That's not good.
Yes, you could.
I don't like that. There.
We can also download it for you too, Joe, if you like.
No thanks. I can get it. It's a big file.
Mm-hmm.
When I can just watch it on YouTube. Okay.
Much easier.
That's really the way to do it. No one's keeping stuff now anymore because there's so much accessibility. Oh, I don't want that now because they don't want to fill up their hard drive. That'd be full in a week's time. Okay, I didn't like the water. I had too much water there, so I just laid that down. But I had made a splash here with the white earlier, and I wanted to kind of try to fix it.
I like that strength, color strength there. It's nice.
I like imperfection. I like a little bit of sloppiness, because that's kind of me.
It's not sloppiness, it's the hand of the artist.
Come on, you can get this blue here.
Well, it keeps it from looking too stained glassy too. You know, some people like that, some don't. So,
As my mom would say, it gives it character.
Patty and April have started a petition and would like to see metallic paint on one of those paintings.
no worries.
They want a metallic square
I am not surprised.
or rectangle. Any shape, really.
We can do it, but you know what? It might not really be able. It might be hard to see.
But they'll know it's there, and it will make them happy.
Hi ho, silver.
Whoa,
What?
that's pretty. He needed a gold or copper on the hot.
But what happens if I put that silver down,
Yeah,
let it
that's-
dry, and then glaze over the top of
I
that
don't know
silver?
what happens.
We will see.
You're not. Is that you don't know?
One thing though, you see how I'm making these lines right here, right? And there's scratches. One thing that I like to do to kind of give consistency as a whole piece is make the angle of the scribble the same all the way.
yeah.
Instead of doing a scribble here and then over here the scribble's going this way. It just gives some consistency so it's like there was some thought put into it, okay?
Spill some paint. All right, so when we get further into this, we're gonna,
Further?
well, just, you're going back, we go back and clean up these marker lines once this is all dry, right? You
Yeah,
can,
you
you
can.
can.
Or you can leave
Not
it
or-
mucky. It doesn't really. It's a matter of choice. But
Okay.
yeah, I do want to get. So, what I feel like I need is, because we're getting ready to kind of wind down
Yep.
here, is I call it we need to introduce the 75-25 rule, and that means 75 to 25, warm, cool, light, dark, that kind of idea. In other words, if you have everything warm, but that's fine too, do everything warm. When you say warm, I'm talking about yellows, reds, oranges, that kind of thing. Everything cool, some nice soft greens and maybe lavenders and stuff. I call those more like a cool color. Yes, don't get into the science of it. I know that there's a warm and a cool blue and a warm and a cool red, all that kind of stuff. But what I want you to do is to think in terms of 75-25. In other words, don't make it half, 50-50. Half of your whole composition to be warm,
Right.
and then the other 50% cool. When you don't have one color tone that kind of dominates,
Yes.
it makes it look busy.
It's fighting.
If they're
constantly
fighting with each other and busy. However, if everything is warm and you put a dab of cool in there,
Yes.
that's going to jump right off the page because it's like I said, it's what here is not the same.
Right.
That's
right,
the thing that jumps out on your eye the most.
Right.
See, you have here, I have this gaudy kind of angsty scribble scrabble, and that's really kind of my personality. But I see, even though we're kind of doing the same thing side by side, Amy's approach is a much softer, quieter, calmer, more controlled, and that probably more reflects her personality than mine.
It's just like me.
And doing those kind of things allows you to find out who you are as an artist. Everybody has their own particular mark.
Oh, yeah.
It is that comes out of you, the pencil to your hand, to the arm, to the mind. It is that movement that distinguishes who you are as an artist. And doing these things over and over, like I said, the Andy Warhol
Yes.
factory process really allows you, like a golfer with a golf swing, to develop that personal mark relationship between you and the brush or the pen or whatever.
Right.
So, I really like this little addition here. I
Lobby
like that. Well, I
there.
just like that there's like these 3 or 4 little tones that are up here, sort of like an echo of
Yes.
what's going on through the rest of it. So, yeah, I lost track of what I was saying, but I know I was going somewhere with this. In other words, I'd like to get back what I was saying was that whether you want to run amok or whether you want to be pristine, do whatever feels good to you, because that is really going to help you establish and feel confident about what's coming out of you, because you've done enough work. You've got to put the work in. And this is a simple, easy exercise that allows just about anybody to really have a fun time and actually can come out with something that could be relatively frameable at least 3 out of 10 times. All right?
Is this the silver?
The silver, yes, it is. I believe so. You open it up, there'll be no doubt. I knew that when I saw the tip. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it's a silver. Okay.
Who wanted the circles?
Everyone.
All right.
They all want a circle, huh?
I think it was April specifically that asked about the circles.
Freaking April.
But then everybody else agreed that she was right.
Okay. April and her circle.
There we go. Circles.
Pardon me?
Circles, but in a similar enough value where only the sheen defines them.
Can you wear your circles?
Yeah, because we can't see them.
What?
Did you draw them invisibly?
Can you see it now? On the.
There's
Can
my
you see the
circle.
sheen?
Mm-mm.
What? What? Dang it! It's right here.
Hold it up to the.
I hope I don't mess up your.
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
Sorry
Don't
for.
hit ya.
Hold on.
Barely, but yeah.
Well, dang it!
You can see
It's
'em.
like my signature. It's hidden. It's there, but it's hidden.
It's a ghost.
Trying to see if there's anywhere else that I can put them without feeling stressed out.
I like Joe's bold circles.
Yep.
Bold.
Not to be outdone. Smart Alec.
I love how you get 2 totally different results from the same beginning.
All right.
Yeah.
It's so neat to see kind of everybody.
I mean, technically, it's all the same elements,
Mm-hmm.
too, like colors, everything, and
There's that better. Can you see that? On the blue? Okay. There.
Yeah.
They couldn't
Oh,
see
yeah.
it and they were upset, so.
Yeah, well, you know, we're here, you're there.
Patty says to loosen up, Amy.
No,
I
Amy
put
is.
circles on it.
That's the whole thing.
Against my better
I'm the
judgment.
loosey-goosey. She's more the formal, soft, quiet, serene.
That defined me to a T.
Well, you know, hey, we're exploring new
Yes.
avenues
sure.
of
There we go.
expression.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
this
serene
linear thing is not
and
what I do. at all.
clearly demure.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. Demure.
Yeah.
What a mess.
we're a mess.
Well, the wheels.
That yes.
the
we
wheels
are.
have come off. Yes.
Oh, I feel so much better about just crisping up that line right there.
Yeah, you better believe it.
I'm so proud of you
What?
for crisping up that line.
It just. was
This
being
is
messy.
not a cooking show. Crisping.
She popped it under the broiler for a couple of days.
Merry Christmas. All right. Let's, because we're here on the wind down, so what we're going to do, we're just going to finish up these two and then just do a kind of a closing statement. But you'll see it's all herky-jerky, but we established some nice hard lines back in here, and it will sharpen it up, and I hopefully will.
Do you need this
You will
back?
be interested. I just had too heavy of an application of
Oh.
paint. No, I have my
Yeah, I
own.
kind of did that everywhere.
And it kind of held me up and kind of handcuffed me a little bit today. So I get my paper lined up, boom, boom, boom. And here's what I found. Okay, I draw a line and I don't get the other part. I might just move it a smidget and draw a second
Yes.
line and thicken the...
Yes, that's yeah.
And
that
that
was kind of what I
really
was
is what-
contemplating as well.
And maybe I come to the circle and then I skip over it and do the rest of the line. Could be something like that. Or not. Or not. Or not.
Oh no.
Or Nate, or not.
Oh, I have a boo boo. We're gonna pretend I don't see that. Okay, not to freehand that. That would be bad. There's still some stuff that's kind of
But you
too
see-
wet to do
Yeah.
to fix.
But you know, we're going to go ahead with it, although it might not be perfect. But we just want to see that when you get that hard line in there, how it really kind of pops the work back out a little bit. Ooh, that's got paint on it.
I didn't do it.
If I did, I confess. Okay. Yep.
You all right, Amanda?
You need one?
Dying.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what did I do with the top? There it is.
Can you pass me the red marker?
This one? Or this?
Sure.
This one is not really that great because it's... No,
Oh yeah, I don't want that one.
right. But it's the whole thing. It's the new part for me is the introduction of the pigmented paint pens to the work because I had not done that in previous efforts. So I wanted to. Oh, you got the red. That's what I need too. Yeah. So I'll talk while she marks. Are you done?
I just wanted to.
Oh, pop it out.
Yeah.
She popped it out. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to reestablish this red line.
Yeah, some of these I'm gonna have to wait because they're just too.
Too wet still?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of that going on here. So I'm going to skip over that area and just do what I can. Yeah.
Now I think in finishing this for me, I would probably take oil markers to go over the top, and I would get rid of some of the. I don't like this blue line now because it reminds me of taping something off when you're house painting, and I don't like it with the other subdued things. So I would probably fix it to a different color.
Well, the great part is
I can't.
you can do whatever you want. You can come
Yep.
back to it the next day, but once you put the oil markers on,
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
no,
it,
that's
right?
it. Yep.
you guys know that out there, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Any final questions or anything? But well, you know, I don't.
It's like you've done this before.
No, this is just a scribble scrabble and talking and really making marks. I think I would be a little bit better if I was a little bit more focused, but we've been chit-chatting, and if it was just me.
Oh.
But I wanted to experiment. I wanted to try some different stuff. I wanted to take in some of the you know, the
I
suggestions.
think Frida actually has a question before we finish up.
Yes. Two questions. Number one, every box has paint in it at this point. Is that correct? Or is there any naked
not
paint
mine.
showing through?
Not,
We've got some,
not
too.
Amy's, and I have a couple that don't, but I would probably do that. On my canvas, I do fill everything when I work on canvas. And you can see that right there. Let me step over to get this one here. So this is a finished piece, and over here, when she's grabbing it, you can see here is another piece that was kind of in the development stage. All right, just to kind of give you an idea. But it does take some time. It's not going to be something that you can just pop out. But I would come in here and use, because I toned the whole canvas and I tone it in that Australian sienna, the color I like. I'd want to put some more interest in here with different color tones in the small box area. But a lot of this, I would maybe leave either a muted glazy wash like this, or maybe just itself, just to kind of make it so it's not everything a solid opaque color, because then it just comes off as stained glassy. So that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And the second question is, how would you finish this piece? Would you varnish it? Spray
Yes.
varnish?
Typically, I will use a mix of gloss and matte medium together, okay? And I mix them together, and because I create a satin medium that way. I put 3 layers of it, because what that does is increases the thickness of the paint film, and when it does that,
No, you're saying that's what you do on canvas. Are you, with this type of
here
work, are you
I'm
doing that?
going
Okay.
doing both, yes.
All right.
On canvas, I'll do 3 layers, but on the paper, I would use, what I prefer is to use Liquitex's Satin Varnish. It is a red label. It has a circle, so that lets you know it's varnish. And that's how I do, because most of the work that is going to be on paper is going to be under glass anyway, so it has some protection from the outdoor pollutants. But the satin varnish, she's bringing around a can of a Solvar, but I wouldn't use Solvar on paper.
Okay.
Because Solvar is a solvent-based varnish, thus the name Solvar. This is my final removable varnish, and that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
I'm doing matte and gloss, medium or varnish together, 3 layers.
Okay.
That's the isolation coat. And what that is, it's permanent water-based. It can't be removed. But if I didn't do something else, that could get dirty.
Yes.
So then I apply the solvent base, either spray or there's a brush on, Solvar, solvent varnish, right? Spray that on. This is the protective top coat. And 20 years from now, the paint gets dirty or dingy from smoke or something
Well,
from
the
being
top,
in
the
a
top
public
layer,
use.
not the paint.
That's correct.
That
the
top layer that the varnish is protecting.
This top layer of Solvar can be removed with mineral spirits. And then the 3 layers that I put on underneath that, which I call the isolation coat, keeps from allowing me to gouge in
Right.
and removing the paint. Thus the term isolation coat.
Right, and the reason is because oil hardens, because that oil, as it dries,
Through oxidation?
becomes very, very hard. Acrylic, it stays very soft. So the reason you've got to have that isolation coat is it's very porous. It protects it, seals it really well. So when you go to take that off with mineral spirits, it's not going to eat into your
Yeah, you
damage
can't
those-
penetrate into the paint film. And so that way they could clean the painting and apply another layer of this solvent-based varnish. That's why it's like, I always people get confused when they hear the word together, final and removable.
Right.
Because that's what they are. The final varnish layer should always be able to be removable so the painting can be clean. Because when you're doing work, I certainly hope that you want your paintings to be passed and not tossed.
Yeah. Very true.
What about Gambar?
Same thing. Gambar is a
Just a brush
varnish, but it's an oil-based varnish. I would strictly use that only on oil paintings.
Oh, you can use it over acrylic as well.
You could.
I've used it over it in Gam Sol or Gam can blend. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
it
would
says that you
prefer
can,
to use
so.
a company that's making Liquitex makes
Yes.
acrylic. I would for it. You could,
Right.
but I would
Right.
think I'm going to have better results with
Right.
that or Golden's MSA spray.
Right.
MS, mineral spirits. MS. That's what you hear the
Mhm.
MSA
Mhm.
on the can. Anyone ever wondered
Mineral
what that was
spirits.
for? That's how I remember.
Mineral spirits aerosol.
Oh, there you go.
That's actually what it is.
See, there you have
I
it.
think. Spitballing.
Anything else we have?
We good?
What do we got for?
Very awesome.
What do you got for next week?
Next week we are going to do urban sketching
And who's
out
that?
in the field somewhere.
Oh my God, who's going to be doing that?
I'll be back here.
I
I will
think.
not urban sketch.
Huh?
But I'll
It's,
be back here.
yeah, it's gonna be me.
Oh, you're going to do.
Unless
urban
you want to
sketching.
come. Do you want to come?
I'm not
You
an
can
urban
do it.
sketcher.
Yeah.
I think you should talk.
Okay,
that-
so I've been out of my element. Joe, man up, come on. I'm just
I'll think
hassling
about
you.
it.
Okay. All right. But yes, the urban sketching is next week. That's what we're doing.
Okay, well, you can see today. This is kind of what we did,
This is
start
awesome.
to finish. Had a nice chit chat. I hope everybody at home has enjoyed what we showed them.
I'm sure they have.
They
and this
endured
is yes. And this is a great way of
Endured it?
seeing what they can endured it. Yeah, there was
That too.
that was me. But now you can see what you can learn. You know all this and so much more at one of your workshops where you know you've got the one-on-one attention with you going around. And
Yeah, when you get stuck, I can help you to
yes.
kind of get your way out. Oh, I'm losing my voice. That
Yep.
must be
I know it's
time,
about that
isn't it?
time. Yeah. So awesome! Thank you so much for coming and
It's been my
doing this
pleasure.
episode. This is
My
wonderful
voice.
and yep.
Here's to you all.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us and thank you Joe and we'll see you next week.
Later.
This is